He's one of those players that you just put the ball in his hands and he'll make things happen.
I'm Robin Lundberg, joined by legendary NFL receiver Randy Moss, who's here with us on behalf of Frito-Lay and PepsiCo beverage brands as part of their NFL campaign, imagining everyone's favorite players coming out of retirement, the likes of Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Dan Marino, Tom Brady, and others. And Randy, speaking of coming out of retirement, a lot of people are talking about quarterbacks coming out of retirement for the Jets after what happened to Aaron Rodgers. You know, Rodgers apologized to Garrett Wilson, saying, sorry, kid, apparently. How should the receiver room react to that news?
It's unfortunate because injuries happen. But I just think for Aaron Rodgers is one of those generational talents. You know, he gets hurt on Monday Night Football. But, you know, as the fan in me, felt for him. But as the football player in me, it's like, the next man up. And I think that's the mentality that the Jets got to have. I mean, they drafted Zach Wilson. I don't know if they're going to look in free agency or something like that. But I just think that, Coach Saleh, his team is a great coaching staff. I like this team. They're a young team. And I just thought that they were just riding high on a pedestal, waiting for a guy like Aaron Rodgers to come. And he just did the interview with John McEnroe the other day. And I remember John McEnroe saying that it's been very painful as a Jet fan to go through these years and not win. And then I can remember Aaron saying that he was there to take some of that pain away, and then he gets hurt on Monday night. So I just think that the fan in me, just felt like every fan watching that game the other night. But, the show must go on. So it's just the next man up. It's Zach Wilson's turn. I know he was there, up under Aaron's coattail of just following him around in the OTAs and the mini camp. So, the time is now. It's, all the criticism, all the naysayers that we're talking about Zach. Now is a great time to be able to hush your critics. So we'll see what Coach Saleh has in store. The next couple of weeks is going to be a tough road for him. So, but we'll see.
One name that gets brought up anytime there's a quarterback opening still is Colin Kaepernick. Do you see him as a viable option for a team at this point?
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Colin's. He's a teammate of mine, and I just really think that it's just been so many years, to pass for him to really get back in the National Football League. You seeing all these young quarterbacks being drafted. You see these young quarterbacks, free agents coming in there. So, would I like to see Colin Kaepernick back in the National Football League? Of course I would. But I just think that it's just been so much time has passed that the league and these other organizations are just moving on. So I don't know what the Jets have in store. But to answer your question, yeah, I would love to see Colin Kaepernick back. But has time passed him by? I don't know. I think so.
Jerry Rice is part of this unretirement campaign, right? But Shannon Sharpe recently said Tyreek Hill is scarier in his mind than Jerry Rice. Do you agree with that?
There's a lot of things you say on TV just to get the viewership. And I think that was one of those cases. I mean, no disrespect to Tyreek Hill and what he stands for and what he means to that organization. But when you put the body of work with 20 plus years, all the statistics, all the records are in your hand with the Super Bowl rings to go behind it. Like I say, no disrespect, but he has maybe about 10 more years of that to keep up with that level of play to be mentioned in a category like Jerry's.
Do you think of Tyreek as a different type of receiver? Like, how would you describe how dangerous he is?
Tyreek is a nightmare. He's just a nightmare. He's one of those players that you got 70 snaps, 80 snaps on the field. For every snap that they play, you better know where he's at every time. And I think that a lot of defensive coordinators might get out of hand or, get a little arrogant sometimes and not put the safety over the top. I understand that they're trying to disguise the defense for Tua. I understand that. But at the same time, you are not putting your defense in a situation to go out there and succeed. And I think that's what the Chargers learned the other day. No matter where you are on the field, I don't care if you're on a +5. You better know where Tyreek Hill is because he's one of those players that you just put the ball in his hands and he'll make things happen. And it could be a reverse, bubble screen, quick screen, whatever it is, Tyreek Hill can make it on every level. So, I mean, he may be one of the most feared receivers of all time. Now, I will give him that. But putting him in a category with Rice, the way Shannon put it, I mean, he needs maybe about 8 to 10 more years of body of work to be in that category.
All right, I've spoken to some really good wide receivers lately and asked them all for their Mount Rushmore. Jamar Chase left you and Terrell Owens off his Mount Rushmore of receivers. You got an issue with that?
No, not at all, man. I mean, that's his personal opinion. I mean, everybody has their personal opinion. And for me to be left off of his Mount Rushmore, it means that I didn't put that much work in. I only played 14 years, so I just needed to maybe put a couple more touchdowns, a couple more yards, a couple more receptions out there. So my body of work wasn't interesting to him, and I respect that.
Do you have a Mount Rushmore of wide receivers? Who are your top four?
My top four Mount Rushmore? Whew. I go Moss, Owens, Megatron, Jerry Rice. That's it.
Not going to be too many people that disagree. Now, back to current receivers. Justin Jefferson was kind of visibly upset after the Vikings lost to the Buccaneers. What would you say to him about that?
There comes a time where every star, every athlete's going to hit some type of adversity. And I think that you have to be able to control it, to understand it, and to move on from it. And I think that when you lose a game like that and you're in the locker room and the media just jump straight in and then they put the microphones in your face. I mean, you could go back in my history and find my sound bites. I know I'd have messed up a lot of times of saying things that I shouldn't have said, but I just think that just moving forward, Justin is just frustrated. I know week one, he just wanted to win at home at US Bank Stadium. So I just think that, just moving forward, there's going to be maybe a few more hiccups throughout the course of the season that he'll learn from this. I'm not taking anything from it. It's just one of those ones where he's frustrated. He wanted to win. And I don't think the contract is that much of a factor than it is of him going in, losing week one at home.
Does the same go for Stefon Diggs, who seemed to be a little, there's been something going on maybe with him, Josh Allen, and the Bills?
No, I mean, every number one wide receiver wants the football. And I think that what the quarterback sees opposed to what we see sometimes is not always the right thing. Like, I always feel, or we feel, that we're open. And we don't know who's breathing down his neck. We don't know, you got guys like Von Miller, Myles Garrett, rushing the passer, and we don't know what he's going through. But at the end of the day, when the whistle was blown and we come out of our route and we're sitting there open. So I think that the frustration part is we want the ball as number one wide receivers, but don't know what the quarterback goes through to get us the ball. So I just think some cases throughout the season, Stefon Diggs, Jefferson, all wide receivers go through a little something because they don't know what's going on, because our heads are basically turned toward the offense because we're running straight ahead. So I think everything is going to be okay at the end of the day. I don't think they need to just grab a bag of Frito-Lays and everything will be all right.
Last one before we get to that campaign, because obviously you're here to talk about that. Coach Prime, you're talking about the defenders. You went against Deion Sanders at one point. What do you make of what he's done for Colorado, which feels like the biggest story in sports right now?
Man, you talking to the number one Colorado Buffalo fan in America. What you want me to say? In all honesty, I think that when you look at Coach Prime and, where he's taken his career, I follow Coach Prime back when he was in Texas doing 7-on-7 travel ball with these young men. Then being able to go to the collegiate level and getting his shot and getting his chance to be able to show them what he's worth. And now he's on the big stage in Colorado. So I'm rooting for Coach Prime, just like everybody else in America is. I'm just glad that, he brought football back to college. And, the way they're out there designing their offense, the way the defense is going out there, special teams is going out there. I'm so glad that he brought college football back with a little bit of excitement. You're bringing the stars out for college football games. These aren't bowl games. These aren't national championship games. These are regular season games that Coach Prime is bringing the stars out. The NCAA gotta love it, because it's generating dollars. So, big ups to Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes, because then again, man, I'm on it every week. And I got a son in college too at the University of Maine, but I make sure I try to tune in to the Colorado Buffaloes and, eat me a bag of Doritos or some plain Frito-Lays or something like that, sit back and watch the game. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, whenever they play, it is prime time. Now tell us why you're excited about this campaign with Frito-Lays and Pepsi brand beverages, Randy.
Well, I just think, thank Frito-Lay and PepsiCo for just giving me the opportunity. One, just being able to get back in the swing of it with the new season coming on and being able to get around old school legends like Jerry, Emmett, Dan Marino, and just teaming up, doing this commercial. And, they just asking about, my favorite chip to eat. And I was like, I eat, Doritos or plain Lay's, but I'm not a big Pepsi, Coke drinker. I drink, mostly water, a little juice, but I do love my chips. And I think that was more on, us doing a commercial. And I said, you know what? I do eat Frito-Lays. I do eat them on a regular basis. So for me to be able to come and do a campaign, a commercial with a company that I do support, oh, man, that's a blessing.
Randy, really appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.